So thank you so much for all of you who just joined and try to participate the discussion. OTA Weekly Discussion episode 254, which is actually the real moderator for today's discussion is Miss Arifa Zaini Syafhira, but because of something, I guess she's going to come late. So that's why I will, try to handle this discussion for a while. And yes, for today's discussion, we're going to talk about knowledge without limits, scientific exploration, and also its moral compass. So, it's kind of like, interesting to talk, especially, I don't know why Miss Arifa decided to choose this one, maybe because it's really also interested in this part. And yeah, before we start the discussion, let me try to mention some rules that we need to obey. Number one, the rule of the discussion number one, please mute your microphone while somebody is talking. And number two, you are not able to give your statement if the moderator doesn't allow you to speak up. And number three, focus on the topic of the discussion. And number four, the hosts are capable of cutting your statement if the moderator thinks that that's enough. And number five, encourage to be active in this discussion. So guys, this is the place for you to improve your English. So don't be shy. Just try to talk about your opinion about the question, and also, try to force or challenge yourself to, put your idea on the table. And number six, or the last rule, is please raise your hand if you want to participate or if you want to try to give your opinion about the question. So let's write the hand first. How? Okay, give me a react if you guys can hear what I'm saying. Can you try to raise your hand? Oh, wait. Yeah. Okay, you raise your hand if you. Okay, thank you so much for everyone. Right, that's all. And now let's try to share the screen. Let me try to share the screen. Wait a second. Okay, cool. Okay, awesome. Let me try to share. All right. Oh, can you see that? Okay, cool. Today's topic is going to be about knowledge without limits, scientific exploration, and also its moral compass. So let's jump into the next slide. So let's try to give our opinion about the first question. What do you know about science, guys? How far should science be allowed to go? Who wants to be the first? Anybody wants to try? Give their opinion about this one. How far should science be allowed to go? What about you, Kim? Want to try to give your opinion?
Oh, well, thank you. So once we talk about science, it means that we're talking about novelty, and also we're talking about something that we really, really need in our daily basis. Is it one of the fundamental things that we have to, and I mean, we have to gain in our life? I don't think so. But one of the things, one of the instrument, one of the, you know, yeah, one of the instrument that we have to afford and to make it happen in our life. since without science, we cannot make anything happen. Let's come first with a lot of, research that already be found in our society. I think it would be technology, one of part of science itself. So how to find the technology, of course, need to combine sort of some of part the science itself. It can be anything to make it happen, right? So so the question is, how far should science be allowed to go to? We know about ethics, we know about the moral, we know about the norms that happen in our society. So in Indonesia, we tend to know that our country is very strong with our culture. Our country also is very strong with norm and also some kind of politeness. So even we know a lot of science, even we know a lot of, founding in our lives in this world, but need to be grounded with ethics, because without ethics we will go farther without knowing the rule. So lucky as we are living in our country in Indonesia that you know rules with a lot of rules that we are mentioning about. So it wasn't be, and it's not supposed to be, break the rule of the human dignities. That's the
That's
first thing
correct.
first.
Can agree.
And it cannot be replace the human position. So this is one of the most important topic that people talking about, especially the founding of the artificial intelligence.
That's
I
correct.
think artificial intelligence one of the part of the science, so cannot be replaced human position in terms of society. Even we know that a lot of scholars also discuss the technology, all the things, all the invention cannot be replaced human precision in their daily basis needs. But at the same time, also it's very scary when the human itself, especially the top one, they cannot control it and make it become something for their greediness. Excuse me. That's the thing. That's the first thing one. And the other one, I think, talking about, science, it will be have a tendency to talk about vulnerability. So what is it, the things that I'm gonna talking about the vulnerability itself? I will be, connect to what I say. There is a lot of things actually in the science. It can shaking your norm. It can shaking also your excuse me. Oh my god.
No, that's correct.
Give me a minute. Give me a
It's
minute.
fine. Yeah, that's correct. I can agree more with what Kim said before. In my opinion, science is very powerful because it can make life better in many ways, as we can see right now. But it's also needs to be careful. When we ask how far should science go, it's really about finding a balance. Science should keep how people solve problem and bring good changes, but at the same time it shouldn't do things that might hurt other or be dangerous. Because for example, let's take a look for AI or genetic engineering. So yeah, they are exciting and can do amazing things, but at the same time they also bring tough question about what is right or wrong. And that's why scientists, government, and all of us should talk about what is safe and fair, because in the end, science should make life better, not worse. So what about you guys? What do you think? Should science we be more careful or explore everything? Let's give the chance to, what about you, Mr. Demos?
Is there anything wrong with the discussions?
Yeah. What do you think?
Uh,
Should science be more careful or related to the question like how far is the science be allowed to
Mhm.
go?
First thing first, I think we all want science to keep moving forward, to keep developing as what it is now. It's still growing significantly. We want cures for diseases, cleaner energy, sophisticated, least more to technology. But I think I do agree on echo with you that we still need boundaries, I think. I think you can say that sign is a power godlike. It's just really such a blessing that human being can possibly possess and have and utilize in this really broken world that we have is really such a good one to also save human being. But at the same point, it's a double-edged sword. It could harm us without, really put up the line on it. I think there are a few boundaries should we discuss more about when it comes to science because I graduated as well from engineering. I think this is also what was discussed from one of my professors talk about what could we achieve and what is the highest achievement that engineers or the science could go to. But lining on that, we should not have our head cloud thinking that it's all about creativity. It's all about the boundaries that we could possibly have. You already mentioned about the EI, the genes. What was you? What were you saying before? Gene something?
About
I think you meant about gene
yeah.
certain thing. I think gene, yeah. I think it's sort of like cloning or this IVT system. All the things are being through by this biological, um, technologies. I think they're really good at planning all the things. So the first boundary should we have, I think, is more about the ethicality. Is the big one, I think. Just because we can do something scientifically doesn't mean we should. Like you mentioned about the gene stuff, I think there is a few technologies biologically can edit embryos to prevent disease. So there are a lot of things of your genes. You even have this scandalous topic called surrogacy, where you're able to have children, without your spouse actually. So it's something that is being planted in another womb or in another place technologically. It's really interesting. Cloning, duplicating a person are all forcing the ethical boundaries of the science itself. So that's the bottom line. If science violates human dignity or autonomy, you can say that's a red flag. So the line must be drawn at respecting, the life of human being, not redefining it. Second, I think you can talk about um, social boundaries.
Yeah.
I think it should be also discussed about, yeah. I think it's something that you talk about the security from AI. I think we need to really teach AI to help human being not to overlay what human are capable of.
That's
If
correct.
it takes over the job without system and limitations, there's no one could actually work in this competitive work, right?
Yeah.
So science must be inclusive and equitable, you can say. The boundaries when progress helps one group, but not by hurting another. And the last one would be the environmental, I think, as a lot of technologies and science created by human researchers are basically what it gets back to the environment. I think you're mentioning about did you mention about geoengineering
Yeah.
if you heard it? It sounds very clever. We're trying to cool the earth by reflecting sunlight or changing the cloud patterns, but we could easily trigger the side effects worse than the global warming itself. And yeah, that's what it is. Really important that we can talk. So the line, so where's the line if you question? The moment they start harming humans, marginalizing the groups or playing roulette with nature, it's time to really hit the pause, I think. So we need to really don't oversight it. Governments to have the ethic boards. We need to always have this public dialogue, and most importantly, humility. That we're not always ready for what we create, because this all archipelago countries are designed not to have equal systems It means that just because they create it in one specific country doesn't mean the other country could actually accept it. This is the reason why we need to have the equalized system as well to really apprehend what science actually is a powerful tool, is a godlike power, but it could change the whole world, scientifically. So yeah, that's all I can say. I don't want to ruin the
Yeah.
discussions if I'm talking too
Thank
much.
you so much for sharing your brilliant opinion about this first question. So, anybody want to try as the last participant before we jump into the next question? What about do we still have somebody who just joined today? He left. Oh, what about Tiara? Do you want to try to give your opinion about the first question? How far should science allow to go? Aris. Or somebody else? Hello, let's say hi to Zahra. Hi, Zahra.
Hi,
Want to try
I'm
to give
audible.
your opinion? Yes, you are audible.
Okay, first, I'm sorry because I'm late to
No
join
problem.
this.
Thank you so much for coming.
Um, but what I can get is, uh, actually, I'm studying in science, especially physics.
Yes.
And until now, we still questioning about the limit itself, where is the boundaries, um, and in physics actually, maybe I will talk in physics because I study physics. In physics, we always explore everything. We explore, even we don't see that. And as far we can have the instrument, we will explore that. And until now, we don't know the wonders about where is that we cannot explore that. What can limit us to explore is our limit as a human. That maybe we don't have the instrument to do that, to explore that, and sometimes we discover something even we don't know the purpose about that.
Yeah.
That's why, yeah, we discover something first, and then we learn what about that, and then we try to apply in our daily life. Yeah, just like that. And that's why we cannot limit ourselves. And we don't know what is our limit to explore the science itself. That's what I can say. We still questioning about that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for showing your opinion about the first question. And hello, welcome, Miss Shoppy from Austria. How are you today?
Sorry?
How are you today?
Yeah, a little bit tired. I just arrived in Germany.
Oh, so now you move.
No, just spending weekend here.
Oh, right. So I want to try to give your opinion about the first question. How far should science be allowed to go?
Oh my God.
Oh my
I
God.
just joined. I
Just
think
join. Okay. Take your time, grab some food and
I
drink.
will speak up later.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming.
Sure.
All right. The last one. Anyone who wants to try before we jump into the next question? What about you? Oh, who is that? 1, 2, 3. Lifia. Hello, Lifia. Wanna try to give your opinion?
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Am I audible? Because I'm
Yes,
in a
you are
cafe that
totally
is
audible
really
and
crowded.
perfect.
Okay.
All right.
So this is the question.
Yeah, this is the question. How far should science be allowed to go?
I think science should be go I think in line with morality and also compassion. because without compassion and morality, the science could go really wrong. I mean, it could make the rest of our species or the rest of human being go vanish just because for the sake of science. Like, I think we should use the logic behind like how to bring that two at the same table without destroying each other.
That's
Like
correct.
compassion and also morality should be, I think, the top priority above the science. So whenever it is not compassionate and it is not morally acceptable, then it should not be purpose of science itself. For example, like I heard a lot of clone
Yeah,
technology, and also they try to mix human with animal.
that's
In
totally worse.
yeah, and you know what? They're trying to make a hybrid kind of new species just for giving us a donor, like supply for organ donor,
Yeah,
without thinking about the consequences for creating the new, even the new species and the new gene mutation.
yeah,
So can you imagine if we develop something that is totally new, like a new species that even are not exist before this, and we try to transplant the organ to the human? I guess in the beginning it could be showing some good progress, but later on I think the genetic mutation and the side effect of that in the long run will cause a harm towards our original species. And since they're trying to make like superhuman and so on by selecting the genes and programming every genes that they had, I don't know if it's good for the sake of our word itself.
it's
I mean, if there
disgusting.
is a yeah, I mean, if there is a superhuman, then we are the inferior human after all, right?
Yeah,
And how can we compete with the superhuman that are programmed by, the technology that we don't even, it doesn't even exist when we are born. And I don't know what's the impact for sure. I mean, it's pretty dangerous if we think about that. Like AI is already so much dangerous. It's I think it's already trespassing every privacy that we had in our life, and we don't have enough security anymore since AI was made.
that's
I don't know what else later on. So yeah, hopefully it will not, distinguish like
yeah,
the other previous technology. Yeah,
that's
thank
correct.
you.
Thank you so much, Livia. And before we jump to the next question, let me try to conclude the answer of yours, guys. Yeah, as some people just say that before, science is an amazing tools to help people and solve problems, but at the same time, it's also important to have limits to keep things safe. That's what we can get from some previous opinions. And now let's jump into the next question. So the next question is curiosity a good enough reason to explore anything? Is curiosity a good enough reason to explore anything? Anybody want to try? Give their opinion. Yeah, let me try to give my opinion first. Yeah, curiosity is a powerful thing. It's also important because it will help us learn and discover new things. But at the same time, curiosity might not always be enough to explore everything. Before exploring, we also should ask if it will help people or if it's safe, because sometimes science should use curiosity, but we also need to consider that is that safe or worse for us. For example, when we are studying about dangerous virus, it will help us to find cures, but on the other hand, it must be done safely to avoid risk. So yeah, curiosity is a good reason to explore, but we also need to think about the effect. So what do you think, guys? Is curiosity enough, or do we need to more rules to explore the science? So who wants to be the first? Anybody wants to try? What about now? Miss Shoppy, you want to try to give your opinion?
Okay, I'll try. I really like your vibe. So you're so
Okay.
energetic and you're so cheerful.
Thank you. Because today is a Orange Festival in Turkey, and
Turkey. Oh, okay. Very nice. I think yeah, it is should be fundamental reason to begin anything, to start to invent anything. Curiosity, you know.
Mhm.
Even though we might probably ask or wondering like how far our curiosity can go, the answer is just infinity. It's because curiosity is not coming from one person
That's
or a
correct.
single scientist, sorry. It's coming from millions of, not millions, exaggerating, um maybe like, yeah, 100,000 of uh head brain, you know.
Can agree.
It is always bigger and growing um along the time. So it is, I think it is enough. When the question is like, is curiosity good enough reason to explore anything? Definitely yes. But it is definitely in the future at some point reach one limit where we somehow like, it's like a boomerang for ourselves
Yeah.
as a human. Because if you know like the famous book from Harari, like Sapiens,
Mhm.
do you know that book?
Yeah, I've heard
And
that before.
yeah, if I think it's a very famous book, and it just, you know, like a scientific regenerated, and they keep like inventing more ideas, more invention. It just like a never ending growth. So we just need to wait until the point where we destroy ourselves. I guess so. Like Miss Evie also explained, like there's always need a limit. But the thing is, these scientists, which provided by millionaire, they have infinity money to doing research. It's unstoppable. They're never gonna stop, you know. So we just wait until the point it forces us to stop.
That's
I
correct.
think that's it. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Miss Shopping. And what about you, Horace? I just saw you raise your hand. Want to try to give your opinion? Another perspective about this question,
Yeah.
Horace. Time is yours.
Okay. Thank you. So is curiosity is a good enough reason to explore anything? Yes, but you have to be careful and do the thorough preparation, because if you don't have a really good preparation, you could do things a little sloppy, and it's not like the way that you wanted. So there's a couple things that could fail. So yeah. And another thing is also like what the other speaker said, is that don't be like crazily uh obsessed with the things that you want to discover, because well, you could start like weird things, like for example, like the old experiments back in the day, like the 1950s and stuff. If you think about it, it's not human friendly. So yeah, I think it's just you have to do the thorough preparation, and you have to create your own limit, because if you're limitless, well, bad things can happen.
That's correct.
That's all from me. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you so much, Haris. And finally, the real moderator is here. Welcome, Ms. Arifa. Oh my goodness, we've been waiting for you for a couple times.
Okay, hello, can you hear my voice?
Yes, we can hear your voice.
I'm
So,
sorry guys that I've been late because there's an unexpected meeting that I think is like an extended time. So anyway, I'm just get to the point that, well, actually I think this topic is because interesting that nowadays we have, for the example, we have AI, we have artificial intelligence, but sometimes maybe in Indonesia people doesn't really think about the after step of technology, but in the Western world, they're already thinking about ethics of technology. For example, that we know we have technology, but sometimes what is divine of consciousness, right?
yes.
If we define ourselves to be a person that can think well, the AI is also can, right?
Yes.
Then what's the difference between those things? I mean, like, that is only the first beginning, but I think that it's already start with Mr. L.
Wow.
Yeah. So, okay.
All right.
Maybe that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Arifa. And somebody else? Is there anyone wants to try to give their perspective over the second question? What about you, Kim? Wanna try to?
Oh yeah, well, thank you for giving me the second chance. I'm sorry, was problem with my throat.
No problem.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like what I say. This question actually triggered me a lot because is curiosity a good enough reasons to explore anything? In my opinion, it's good enough, but it's not one of the most important thing to be make it happen.
Yes.
So without without curiosity, you cannot ask anything, you cannot solve anything, you cannot find anything. Let me give you the real example. So I grew up in a jungle, well, in a
Jungle.
village. I mean, I was staying in a really far away from the city.
Nice.
So me myself as a person that really far away from laboratory, from the city, and also the people who are significant in science, I have a lot of questions. So me myself, especially when I was a kid, I always questioning, why do leaves turn yellow? Where does this river end? Why do people get sick? Why people change? Why you have to be get older? Why you have like this and many things. When I was younger, I didn't think about curiosity itself. I mean, I cannot put it as a curiosity until I grow up. I understand that it's part of the knowledge and also it's part of the curiosity itself. So, in my opinion, it's very good for you if you have sort of curiosity. Why Indonesians, our generations, based on the statistic, we are very low in terms of knowledge. In terms of IQ. That's because of one of the reason is we have the tendency to be, we are not ready enough for questioning anything. We're not ready enough to answer anything. And we also very, it's not based on my opinion, but it's based on the statistic, but we are very illiterate. It means that we are not there enough to question anything. Why you have to stand here? Why you have to like this and so on and so on? So I think, in my opinion, we have to explore more, and also we have to know what is the curiosity itself, and we are not making it as a limitations for stopping you to question anything. But we also have to think about the curiosity itself. I will raise it from the elements of the critical thinking. So I think I also can position it as a part of the curiosity itself. So in critical thinking, we have a clarity, accuracy, precision, depth, logic, significance, and also some the other fairness. So I think we also can bring it in terms of what I call it curiosity itself. So need to be logic. It not harm other people. It instead it can give you sort of something that can make you improve. That's the first thing first. And the second one need to be precise. If you ask question, you have to make sure that it gives you insight. But there is a thing we also need to be what I say, we need to be careful because all the things that we are asking is not and shouldn't be answered in just any way. So as I mentioned earlier, when I was a kid, I questioned many things. It doesn't mean that I immediately get an answer because need a process, need a time, especially when you had a teacher, when you don't have any guidance, you're gonna be lost sometimes, but you have to make sure that you're not gonna be in a wrong position. But you have to understand that all the question that you raise sometimes might be not having any answer at all, but sometimes also it can be give you harmful or give you damage. That's the thing. And the other one need to be there is a clarity. So you carry something, but you have also need to have a clear picture. What is it the goals of the question? If you cannot find the answer, what you're gonna be doing? That's the thing. Well, so there is a beautiful thing that I learned actually me myself as a person who are growing in a village. So it's a very powerful actually if you have the curiosity, because it can brings you to anywhere. It can be created you as a person that who you want to be. But the thing is, you, me, and everyone need to have a kindness. What is it, the kindness itself? So even we explore anything and everything, but we never and ever forget about compassion. That's the thing. And the other one, I think, I always learn from a mom, because she always said to me, even you explore, even you are working in a very long time period of time in this garden, but never destroying any single plant. So what does it mean? Even we have a big curiosity itself, but we also need to be careful and we need to be understand what is it our goals. If we are working to plant the trees, we also need to remember we have the time to wait it to for make it grow. That's the thing. So we need to be careful whenever we have a question, never giving any harmful to yourself and especially to other people. So that's my opinion. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for Miss Kim. What a nice explanation for the second question. What about now, Miss Arifa? Wanna try to take a control for this one, or should I just be the moderator? And
Okay, thank you so much for your question, El. Maybe because I'm the moderator now, then I will take control.
right,
but thank you so much for your help anyway. I'm sorry.
All right, so before we jump into the next question, before I give you the control, let me try to summarize for the second question answer. So curiosity helps us learn new things, and it's very important for progress, but it's not always enough on its own. We also need to think about safety, fairness, and also how our action will affect people and the world. So when curiosity works with responsibility, it brings the best results and helps everyone. That's the conclusion for the second question. And now let's jump into the third. Is Arifa. Now it's your time.
Okay, thank you so much. So before we move to the next question, okay, now we next to the question. So who decides what ethical in science? I mean, for example, if we're taking some exam, we need somebody else as a judge, as a examiner. So what do you think? If we do some research, and who will going to choose which this is right for research or this is wrong. Maybe do you guys have any opinion?
Anyone who wants to try to throw their opinion for the third question? Let's try to give a chance to the newcomers. What about Mr. Sunshine?
Sunshine.
Gue udah kayak takut nih, khawatir nih. Bentar lagi nama gue panggil dah. Okay. Right, thank you so much for the opportunity. Who decides? It's definitely there would be two pivotal points. It would be determined by the society themselves or the people themselves. Those who have a strong self-esteem believe that the center of something shaping their personality or something shaping the way how they view the world is themselves. Okay, so for these kinds of people, they definitely individuals who will consider how ethical level will still in anything not limited to science will be beneficial for them, will be harmful for them. They disregard the harms substances or the meaningfulness of any ethical in science as long as it doesn't benefit them. Right. On the other hand, we also have those people who always see how to benefit for how to benefit people and how to avoid harms to people. Or on the other way around, yeah, there are some individuals who can take profits by harming others by still considering the utilizations of ethical insight is kind of complicated. So in these kinds of situations, I believe it will be how to say it's like subjective or objectively speaking. Yeah, and somehow it can also be further manipulated. It's like being objectively but subjectively filterized. So, for example, we like digest everything by setting objective POV to decide or to set out to sort out something from the ethical values, and but afterward we're going to um, emphasize the utilizations of the second filter, which is the subjective POV. So here there would be a double filterizations before the fixed ethical value. So I can say that aside from those two views, there would be strong people. I would say strong people because they have a strong influence toward other people. For example, like influencers, presidents, or some other people who have like strong followers, massive numbers of followers. They definitely have a power to change, to calculate the narratives, how they lead people, how they set off the trend for the people, and believing that one narrative about ethical science is justifiable, feasible, insurable, or something, whether it benefits them at the end or not. So I can say there are those two people who believing in subjective and objective values or VOV, but there are others who believe stronger people in terms of personality toward influence. Yeah, some they have like amplified power to change the flow of the narrative. So people how they consider whether one thing or something truly ethical or not in the eyes of science. I think that's my comment, dear moderator. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the answer. For the example, we actually agree with that. It's always, I mean, the answer from Mr. Fighting is always like, we got Christian out, right? Okay, maybe we can move to the other person, maybe Mr. Lestari. Hello.
Yeah,
Can
hello.
you give your opinion,
Sunshine's
please?
twin.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Ms. Arifa. I just want to make sure the disclaimer that, yeah, Sunshine and I are always twinning. That's why he decided to copy my style, wearing glasses on.
Yeah,
You know,
I believe in that.
just instrument myself. Honestly, this is a tough question, sorry, but this is really such a good question coming from you. Honestly, deciding what's ethical in science isn't just a black and white as we might hope, and it's not a single person to decide. It's a complex tug of war between innovation, integrity, and the people who's use science or the outcome or the output of science. Um, and of course, there's no single group that holds the moral compass to decide which one is right and which one is wrong, especially in Indonesia. Sure, also there must be institutional review, uh, was like a review boards and governmental bodies that set the ground rules at the very first place. How is it relevant with the Indonesian government system? Is it allowed here, but it's probably not allowed in other countries? So the setup must be coming from the institutional review boards and the governmental bodies. But I think when it comes to ethicalities as well, is ultimately shaped by um, a bunch, a cocktail of cultural norms, public opinion. Your voice matters, guys. Public opinion, legal frameworks, and those professional standards. Yeah, I couldn't one by one, but from where I stand, I think ethics in science must be collective judgment and must be pertinent towards the societal impact. So when it comes to societal impacts, they need to question first whether is it going to be beneficial, was it going to be impactful for the society, was it going to be questioning the norms on all those legal frameworks that we have. So we have to set up the ground rules first for the government. We are the one who will get the output, then we're also the one who set up the ground rules. I think scientists are the ones in the trenches, but they cannot work just as a vacuum from the government. Oh, they're given the tax, and they do something, anything in the lab. Um, that's what we are as the part of the ethicists also need to come from. Sorry, to come in to ask tough questions to those people. But to me, um ethical decisions in science should be informed by the government or the scientists to the society. So we are supposed to be the ground rulers for the specific boundaries that science could actually possibly go into. So yeah, that's all I can say. Other than that, I go with my twin Sunshine. Yeah, we are sharing the same glasses on, so yeah, my opinions are really relevant and pertinent towards what he just mentioned before. Thank you so much. I hope that answers your
Okay.
questions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dedi Lestari. Now I want to ask opinion to heal me. Hello, heal me. Are you there?
Hello. Good
Okay.
evening, everyone. I'm sorry, I just joined this Zoom meeting, so I just kind of follow the discussion. So, to answer this question, to decide what's ethical in science, I think uh, uh,
It's okay. Heal me. I mean, maybe you can explain anything in your thoughts, in your opinion. I mean, you can actually express your opinion. There is no proper right and wrong because this is not only one person, but it's the whole system. They do have a certain system to actually agreeing the the research. So this is Mr. Hilmi. Mm, okay. I think we lost the. I think we lost Mr. Hilmi.
Yeah,
Is
I
it?
guess
Or okay.
he got some
Okay,
trouble with his
maybe.
connection.
Yeah, maybe. So we can move to the next. How
All right.
about
So before we jump into the next question, I wanna try to word it up. Um, what I can understand for some people's perspective related to this question, deciding what is right or wrong in science is not up to one group. It's something many people do together. Such as scientists follow rules to make sure that their work is safe and helpful, and also government, the same time organization also create laws to guide scientists and keep things fair. But on the other hand, the public also plays a role. So that's the most important thing. The public, society, regular people, because regular people also need to share their ideas in discussion, which is it's gonna be really like helpful to shape what is okay in science and what is not. For example, people's opinions on AI or genetic research can change how governments and scientists move forwards. In the end, deciding what is right or wrong in science takes teamwork. So it's not just about one opinion. It involves a lot of parts of the government, scientists, or even regular people. But yeah, scientists brings knowledge, governments make rules, and the last piece of it is the public. The public shares ideas. All these groups works together to decide what is the best. So yeah, that's the summary, what I can conclude for the previous or the second question. Now let's jump into the next one, Ms. Arifa.
Okay, so we to the next question.
Is it one?
Hello?
Hello?
So we resuming to the next question, or
Oh yeah, the next question.
yeah.
Is it the next question? Oh, this is the next question.
Okay, can ethics keep up with technology? Okay, maybe some of our people or our member are coming from the philosophical studies, but for all I know, if I'm wrong, please correct me. Ethics is coming from the evolutionary of human being, especially about morality. So it based on the empathy, and this empathy can make the other people know that this is good for the other human being. So ethics is basically like how do we behave that probably can affect the other people, and then the ethic is also maintaining the society, so the society keep on going. Okay, so what do you think about, guys? But what if we mix that with technology? For example, we can make new robots in another body, put the AI brain, or even it's not about AI anymore, but artificial super intelligence. Is it like ethical for us and keep them in between us? So I want to ask Miss Livia. Hello? Hello, Miss Livia, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. So this is the question. Hello? Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Keep going.
Okay. I think ethics will have to keep up with technology, whether we like it or not. Yeah, like what I said before, when we forgot about the ethics itself, and we like crazily trying to achieve so many advances in technology without considering about the impact for the other species or to our environment, even to our future generation itself, and for our survival things, we're gonna ruin our own world and our own future generation, because when there is ethic to underline every I think every progress that we made in technology. It's hard, but human should, keep with the ethics. Otherwise, they can create anything like, like monster that we couldn't even can stop after they are created. So I hope that I have a little hope that people could think before they create something. Like AI already make a lot of people lose their job. I wouldn't blame it on AI, but I think we are not ready yet to compete with the pretty fast progress of the technology nowadays. I think we have to develop our mindset and our skills in order to survive through this very fast changing environment. And I think technology should not make us lose our um, hope in humanity, but rather trying to make ourselves becoming a better creature, but not to forget that we have to take care of other species like our ancestor did in the past. We take care of our environment and our other human being itself. So I think technology should help us to make us more human, not to, like make our humanity extinct. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So you actually agree that ethics should follow up with the newest technology, isn't it?
I'm sorry?
So you agree that ethics should be followed based on the recent technology. So it's like flowing depends on the technology and the timeline.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your opinion, Miss Syafhira. Well, that's actually true because basically human beings also have their own timeline, and each timeline they do have different rules. So the rules is actually always changing by the time. So the technology is because basically technology is only a tool, so it gotta be followed by the human itself, right? So, but I wanna ask to the other person. How about Miss Zahra? Hello, Miss Zahra. Hello? Okay, how about your opinion, Miss Zahra?
I want to try to answer this question.
Hello?
Answer is very and often not fast enough.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but your voice is very small.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Okay, maybe you can put the mic near your mouth.
I'm audible?
Okay, now that's very much more better. Okay.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I try to answer this question, and my answer is barely and not fast enough to keep up the ethics keep up with the technology. Because as we know in this age, the technology tends fast, like speed lightning. It's very fast the improvement, and and as human, we need a time to respond this technology. Like the technology maybe explodes before we realize the impact about this technology. So this is what I can say, that ethics maybe not fast enough to keep up with this technology. Like for example, the social media, it explodes and very already famous and many people use the social media before we realize the mental health impact or the negative impact about the social media, or maybe AI. The AI is very go forward and very, how to say that, uh improve, improve, and until now people still debate what is the pro and the contra about the AI. That was I can say, and we can maybe we should work together to think fast as the technology itself. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So for wrap up, so you think that actually the ethics still have a debate in between, right? Because it has gotta be, for example, AI itself is basically, Meta in Instagram, Facebook. Now we have a TikTok, even the CapCut, they are using Meta. So they do have link in between all of the social media. So that's why after we install the social media or app, there is some question in the first beginning. Do you agree that you being collected for all data about the privacy and everything? But most of us do not read that thing. So that is why if you install one app, it's going to be linked to the other app. It's like data mining and everything. So that was using AI. Is it like going to be like you think that you not agreeing with that, but they hacking all of your data without your consent? So that is not ethical, right? It's Zahra for giving your opinion.
Yeah, I think so. Like, it's not ethical. Like AI doing, what AI doing with our that data. Like, we don't have our privacy. Like, our data become trial and error for AI itself. That's why maybe it's not ethical.
Yeah, exactly. Because they need a data set, right, for training themselves.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay. That is also the issue, guys. So, how many questions that we have, Miss L?
Oh, we got somebody else. We have Saifullah Putra on. I guess he's gonna try to tell about his opinion for the question. So if you don't mind, I guess we can go with him.
Okay.
Mr.
Saifullah.
Okay, thank you for your okay, thank you for pointing me. Well, for me, I think ethics cannot easily keep up with technology. Can as we can see, like the speed of innovation becomes very fast and rapidly nowadays. So I think ethics can slow. I think can make slow the I think the progress or maybe the progress of innovation. So, but otherwise, if we invent maybe anything or if we invent a new thing in our technology or maybe in our modern society, sometimes ethic can can be a break system, can be a breaking system in the technology because ethics can reflect our cultural values, maybe privacy and anything else, and that technology will affect on us. So I would say that if we, I have an analogy. If we are driving a car, we need speed to arrive at certain location. So, but without braking system, speed becomes dangerous. So sometimes we need to fasten our speed. Sometimes we have to we have to make it slow our vehicle. So that's why I think ethics can play a role in the technology. Like maybe, for example, like ChatGPT or AI tools, sometimes people try to filter or make an edit of the image using ChatGPT to make like a Studio Ghibli effect on their pictures. But with the ethics process, animators or maybe like designers try to speak their voice to maybe to curb the people to use AI as the tool to edit the video or maybe the picture, because it can be I think it can be harmful for the animators or the creators to make the picture or to make the video as same as they did. So I would say that it, as a keep up with the technology, I think it's not easy to keep up with that. It's not easy for ethics to keep up with technology. Maybe that's all. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for your opinion, sir. We still have Miss Takilia. You raise your hand, right?
Hello.
Okay.
I'm sorry. My network's really bad right now. So what in my opinion about this ethic thing and technology, like you said about AI and something like that. If we see what how the technology progress, such as AI, it's always progressing faster than the ethic. But I think what what this technology lack is the technology lacks of uh, what is it wiseness. So this ethic need to keep up with this the technology, because I think ethic that come from us human will give uh, wiseness, and make a limit for what technology can do. So I think yes, it can and it must ethic keep up with the technology.
Okay. Thank you so much for your opinion, sir. So for the majority, I think we know that the ethics should be keep up with technology, because as long that actually technology will always be there in between human beings, because it's basically full, right? So the ethics also following up depends on the technology. So that's why we need to have a lot of openness to the public, right? We know that the research is basically need to be open because we need a public opinion. But the problem is most of the time the newest research, even in Indonesia, who does really care about research anyway? They trust the social media way much more better than the other things. Even though it's wrong and right, we don't know, right? So I think it's really important for us to really knowing which is right or wrong. But we also need help from the government, because the governments, they do have a power to control what can be exist in the streamline of the social media. Okay. Okay. Now next question. What happens when science and morality clash? Yeah, this is kind of controversial. I want to know the opinion of anybody. Volunteer? Maybe. Oh, what is this? Miss or Mr. Aulia? Hello, Miss Aulia.
Yes, me.
Okay. Please give your opinion, Miss.
What happened?
Okay, thank you for the chance. If you don't mind, can I give an answer by a movie I watch? Hello?
Yeah, hello.
If you don't mind, can I give an answer based on movie I ever watch?
Yeah, it's okay. It's up to you.
Okay, yes. Okay, thank you. Yesterday I watched Korean trailer movie and the name is Emergency Declaration. There are scientists but become like terrorists. He found a virus and then tried to the like sample like rats and then human and then he have uh, how do you say he want to try the virus in many humans, but the antivirus the formula is not still in the process. So he found a virus but not the antivirus, and the antivirus is still on progress. And after the how do you say try to human, the human is safe, but they still how do you say lumpuh? How do you say lumpuh? So I think scientists can be improved, but also we need to improve our morality. So when the scientists get the virus and uh, he should improve their morality and then validate the antivirus so they didn't make any danger to the human. Yeah, can you get what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I get the point. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Alika. Well, actually, very interesting. Yeah. I mean, sometimes movie or even like some very short video YouTube, even though it's not real, but they do have bring the real issue. So very that's interesting though. I want to ask the other opinion. Is there anybody volunteer? Maybe Steve. Hello, Steve. Are you there? Steve. Hello. Okay.
Is Arifa.
Oh, what do you think? But when it's science morality class, when it's already happened, though. But what do you think?
Right. Okay. Thanks for the chance, Ivan. I would like to give a comment, but I don't know whether it correlates with these questions or not. But since I stayed in my city, what I saw, because you have alluded to talk about who cares about research. It's superlative topic, I guess. Even currently, I went around to some universities talking about research, talking about what we are going to do to make it framework, conceptual framework, theoretical framework, or blueprint before some college students or scholars would like to make a research. It's totally superlative. Or it creates with jockey, jockey, and on the other hand, I found or I met with one lecturers. She disagrees with the jockey because jockey creates the laziness from other scholars. With respect to talk about jockey, comes up with research. um, jockey comes up because of laziness from the individuals. That's why we talk about morality here. It's I don't know why, because it is an opportunity for the human. Do they care about morality or not? But I assume that they tend to focus on prosperity rather than morality. If the humans, the individuals has prosperity, I assume that they have a moral. I don't say that in general, but if they are if they have unwealth prosperity, but they have moral, no one cares about it. It means that they have no lot of how to say uh, voice out or voice out to talk on the stage, because they will compare between prosperity and morality. That's what I guess what I can say. I do not answer about science. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, it's okay. Well, actually, it's really complex. It's complex actually, so it's okay. Maybe the other guys, you wanna give your opinion, anything, or Mr. Maras, or 00. Sorry, okay.
All right, can I try to be the last person who answered this question?
Yes.
So, from my perspective, it seems to me when science and morality clash, it can be tough to find the right path. Science might comes up with ideas like cloning or genetic editing that could help people. But morality makes us wonder, like, is this really the right thing to do? So these classes happen when new discoveries challenge the value or belief of society. For example, some might worries about safety, fairness, or whether it respect their culture or ethic. So yeah, the best way to handle this is by having open conversation and thinking carefully about the impact. So yeah, and we need to put the question like can we balance progress in science with respecting people's value or no? So yeah, it's kind of like really complicated. Thank you, Miss Anne. Now
Thank you so much. We'll wrap up. Yes. Okay. Can we? Next question. Should there be limits to AI, genetic engineering, or space colonization? Very interesting. Do you guys ever know there is some memes about step 1, step 2 colonization of human beings? I actually appear on meme. No, type 1 colonization. Because type 1 colonization is there is no war. Food is already sustainability. So they do have very basic and everything is good. Type 2 colonization is like we kind of extracting the energy so we can control the sun. That was a type 2 colonization. Well, that's pretty futuristic, but we already have that meme though. What do you think, guys? I mean, for example, genetic engineering is like cloning. Do you agree with cloning? Imagine that you have your own cloning with the same brain and you can put them anywhere. Do you agree with that? I mean, if you like to multitasking, you go travel around the world, but the other part of you is basically work for you. So it's like self-employee, but it's the same identity. Do you agree with that? I mean, it's really interesting, right? The idea. Maybe I want to asking Miss Miss or Mr. Kim? How do I Miss Kim?
Yeah,
Not
Miss
Miss,
Kim.
either
Oh yeah,
Mr. Just
Mr.
call
Kim.
me Kim.
Okay.
Yeah, just call me Kim. Yeah, thank you. Well, so the question was about, do you mind if there's someone can I mean there's anyone can to be like look like you? For me myself, I don't mind 100%. I can tell you right away because me myself since I was a kid, I really really want to duplicate myself. Why? The reason, I mean, not people duplicate me, but I would like to duplicate myself, and even I want to learn how to duplicate myself. So it happened to me like well, let me tell you the reasons why why I want to duplicate myself. But I mean, I'm not talking from the perspective, from general perspective. It's just only from my personal perspective. So the first thing first. Oh well, yeah. I need to go from I need to go from Kanaha. Well, yeah. So first thing first, because I do see and I do observe the society in our in this world is getting crazy, is getting insane. I can't trust no one, including my family members, including someone that close to me. I completely cannot trust anyone. Even also, the one who really, really like taking care of me, perhaps, but I definitely cannot trust them 100%. So, in my opinion, that the only one of me that I can trust 100% and I can rely on, and I can do anything and everything with me, anything and everything with me. I completely can say that because whenever I imagine myself alone and I would like to copy myself, it's completely works in my opinion. If I have someone like me, look alike, another mind, of course there will be pro and cons if I duplicate myself, 100% in terms of physics, physical appearance, including also what I say, attitude, whatever you want to call it. There will be a lot of pros and cons. But in my opinion, that will be easier also for me to taking care because I know what is in her mind and also what it's in my mind, and I also understand to handle that person. So it also happened to me, especially last year, 2024. I watched a drama, a Korean drama, if I'm not mistaken. So there is a movie was talking about the duplications of the RNA. So rexinonucleotide acid, something sort of, I forget to pronounce it correctly, but it's sort of RNA. You can guys search it. Well, so I happen to wanna know about it because I really want to make it happen, especially for myself. As I said earlier, nobody can trust. I can trust no one, and I also cannot rely on no one except myself. So I think would be better. It's definitely okay, but at the same time, also it would be like dangerous to the other people. As Arifa mentioned earlier, what about if you travel to another country and you're another clone, stay in your country, let's say? So you're gonna making a lot of manipulation. You're gonna be making a lot of negative things when it comes to the reality. That's why, as I said earlier, there is a lot of pros and cons. Even also, it happened for the twinning people. Even they're twin, they also already make a lot of negativity in terms of society. Why it happens? Because they are twin. I mean, what we call it, like they really resemble one each other. So it's already harmful to the society. I mean, it comes from the family members and eventually going out to the society. So I will be debatable again. This is a very hard motion, but for me, I want to make it happen. Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting. I mean,
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, because if I want to answer your question, I mean, the things that you are showing up on a screen already being answered in the very beginning question. So there will be a lot of limitations for the technology. It can be AI, it can be engineering, whatever you want to call it. Need to be also sure what is it, the ethics itself. So the things in general point, the key points need to be ethics and also not what I say, not going out in terms of the morality and also the norms that already been rolled in the society itself. That's my point of view.
yeah, yeah. Well, I just kind of have imagination. Maybe, I mean, for example, people like Nazi. Imagine that he make their own, like their own army. Imagine there is 100 people like him. Is that going to be disaster in a way if there is no rules, if there is no like such a limitation? Maybe, I mean, for example, I mean, cloning something. I kind of the person that agrees with that, tend to be, because if I did, I'm going to put all of my memories, all of my nervous system to the new body that way much more younger, right? But what if the guy that can be cloned is a bad guy, such a criminal? This kind of guy should be die, right? Yeah, that was also becoming the concern. I think if we adding some like a cloning things, or even there's no limitation, even human being needs to be limited, because we kind of like, for example, it's like human, it's smart but stupid at the same time. Like that is a very lots of interesting that I get from, I forgot the book though, but it's we kind of like make the most advanced technology, but at the same time we can destroy ourselves with our technology. Is that funny? You know, anyway. So maybe the other want to give you an opinion.
Well,
Maybe
Arifa, can I give you a little bit about your opinion, your argument earlier?
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, I would like to give the response because you give me a response, and at the same time also would like to give you a response. So you said earlier, don't you think that is gonna be harmful and also it's gonna be disastrous, damage, whatever you want to call it, if you're able to clone yourself? Absolutely, yes. But at the same time also, even you cannot do cloning, you yourself, everyone here already make a disaster in terms of society. Even, for example, we are all of us the users of the social media platform. You duplicate yourself in many users of social media. That's one of the disaster. If you think that you can clone yourself physically, but you already clone yourself in your account, that's the one. That is one of the cloning. If you think that cloning is the only physical appearance, that's what I say. Just to show the way of thinking, in my opinion. Yeah, second account, people say it's not only second account. A lot of people, they can even make 10 accounts, 30 accounts, and many accounts, like Gmail. Someone, they clone a lot of account. For what? For specific purpose. It can be to control, to observe, to handle, to seek, to whatever they want. That's because they cannot clone themselves in physical appearance, but they can clone themselves in many identity that people cannot detect them. But again, we already also said earlier, there are specific people that can control. Yeah, we call it like the controller of the world. They are exist, and they do, and they are. So what we are going to be doing, if we think your identity still kept privately, it's not. There is nothing hide about you anymore. I even can track you. For example, Ariba, Alia, Shanshan, wherever you are, I can track you. That's a piece of cake, especially utilizing of the artificial intelligence. It's also part of the cloning, in my opinion. Cloning itself, again, is not only your physical appearance. Cloning, you can clone the way of thinking. You can clone your knowledge and everything. You can interpret it, in terms of, in another way. It can be technology. It can be whatever you want to name it. That's my opinion. Because we also need to be real. Everyone already make the disaster. Everyone already make a problem. But ourselves, everyone, they do not realize it, because they have the tendency of thinking, I'm better than the other people. I'm good. I don't do this one because he's doing this. We have a tendency to judge people because we always think that we are the right person. But absolutely and exactly we're not. We are also part of the disaster. part of the disaster. I have to make it bold and also make it very clear to make the realizations that everyone make a disaster in this world. Yeah, consciously and also unconsciously of thinking.
Yeah, well, that's very interesting. Well, that's true though. Maybe like the first beginning of cloning is from second account. Yeah, but anyway, I still wonder that people have like 5 accounts though. I'm still thinking, damn, what are you doing about that? Even me, I try to manage one account. It's just hard. And then the other people like manage like 3 or 4 of them. Like, what? Damn, you want to spend all the time just for yeah, except password.
Look, you do judgmental. You just doing judgmental, man. Come on, don't do that. People have specific
Yeah, I know, I'm
purpose.
sorry.
Yeah, don't do
Well,
that.
people have many. I still wonder though. But anyway, thank you so much for your opinion. It's really opening my mind though. Okay. Must be very good. Oh, that's also judgmental. Okay, how about next question? Or maybe some of the other guys want to give the opinion. Guys, anybody?
Let's probably hear that from Mr. Damas. What about you, Mr. Damas? Do you have any idea about the current question?
Oh my goodness, this course is really like too hot on a way that I couldn't keep up with.
Yes, right.
I think it's all the rails for for quite some times. But I think it already been discussed from your first question that we should have the limits on the specific, enhancements of technology in science as part of how we need to realize that the the flip side of the science itself is basically that we're opening the Pandora's box, that it could create problems that are hidden first. So yeah, it requires the needy discourse that we really need to have as well, and not really to push the back burner of everyone's to get engaged with that. Um, it's just like you need the brakes for the car. If you really want to have this particular advancement of technology or science, you also need to have the brakes for everything. So the boundaries are relevant, the outcome is relevant, it's tangible, everything is exactly measured and beneficial for the human being. I think that's what it is for. So yeah, I don't really have any more opinion about it. I think it's already been discussed. The point is that we're not creating another recipe for disaster. That's all.
Thank you for your opinion. I kind of like lost in the house, but yeah. I think Miss L already get the point. How do we balance progress with responsibility?
So we only have a shorter time to discuss. So yeah, this is the last question.
Yeah, 6 minutes.
6 minutes.
Maybe Nawal. Mr. Nawal. Mr. Nawal. I would like to hear about your opinion, sir.
Hello?
Yeah? Please? What do you think about balancing between progress and responsibility?
Opinion, I'm sorry. How do we balance progress responsibility? Actually, I need time to answer it first, but I guess this is what I've come to my mind. Progress with responsibility. I know. I'm as like as a university student, I think this is what I've been how to say it, I've been faced it too, you know, as like, or, as the organization leaders, I tend to be, manage many things all at once, and we have to make like this, um how to say it, this responsibility, even we don't really have a time, but this is still, we need to keep up the progress itself, because this is what we have to do. And at least we know that the people that we, um how to say it, I'm sorry, I need to think it first, because I don't really.
This is the place for us practice speaking, right?
Yeah. How do we balance progress with responsibility? I think as an organization leaders, we know that, we have to not just keep up with our progress responsibility as a students, and our and balancing our progress as like progressing our organization to keep up, like to make the organization alive, still alive, you know as we know that, the how to say it, um minat, you know the demand of like the organization of like the university student, it's going low and low, and we lost about our members a lot. And this is like, even we don't choose to be like leaders, we have to, um balance it, you know my responsibility as a student, and the progress to make my organization still keep the going. Yeah, I don't know how to say it, because I'm I'm a type that need to think first how I, answer, and I cannot like see the clearance with my when my answer. I know it's bullet, it's it's out my mind, I don't know, and I'm sorry. Okay, so that's it.
Thank you so much for your opinion. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, I also still learning, so that's okay. So we know all are the end of the session. But before the end of the session, maybe Miss Mr. L wants to say something, or we straightforward to taking picture.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you so much for all people who have participated in our wonderful discussion for tonight in OTA Weekly Discussion, episode 254, with our amazing moderator, Ms. Arifa Zaini Syafhira. Thank you so much for giving your time and join in this discussion. And like usual, before we close this our tonight's discussion, we're gonna try to take a picture. So but before that, let me try to let me try to take a picture with the certificate for our wonderful moderator tonight. So for Miss, what can I share this? Okay, cool. Okay, can you see that?
Still loading. Takes time.
Pardon?
Is it visible?
Yeah,
In
is it
your...
visible?
I think it's still now. It's there.
All right, if you don't mind, could you take a picture of us, Mr. Sunshine?
Sure, I did.
All right, thank you so much. So let's
Okay,
take a
but
picture. 3,
okay. Mm-hmm.
2,
But
1. All right.
mm-hmm. Okay. Done. Mm-hmm. Right. But Arifa, can you say something so that the one in the center is not L? Okay, say something. Nah, that one. That's good.
Okay.
Maintain it.
Thank
Okay,
you so much
cool.
for this
Okay,
certificate.
okay.
And I really
That's enough. Okay,
okay,
well
that's
done. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Arifa. And now for all participants, if you don't mind, please turn on your camera and we're gonna take a picture for all of us. Hello, Mr. Damas. Hi, Zahra. Hello, Mr.
Hello.
Kim
How
Lipia.
is that an acne?
Pardon.
Yeah.
Hello, Haraz.
Welcome to the adulthood.
Yeah. But wow, you spotted really quickly.
All right, what about you, Kim? Oh, hello, Lipia.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
I
god,
forgot to change my background.
you're promoting AV, Miss Sophie, and Miss Sophie's not here.
What about you, Kim? Are you allowed to open your
No, thank you. I highly respect you guys, but no thanks.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's
thank
not
you.
Kim. It is the clone. Like it is her clone. I think that's the one to answer this.
Yeah, you say better, man. We're gotta get a fire. Don't say it twice. I'm gonna be.
Mhm.
All right, so everyone, please give your best. Favorites. 3, 2, 1, and cheese. Cool. One more time. 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much. One more time, I want to say thank you so much for all people who have participated, and see you in the next weekly OTA discussion.
Okay, thank you, Miss Arifa. Thank you, brother Iqbal. See you
Sorry,
all.
is there any
Thank you, everyone.
No.
Thank you,
You're
Arifa.
cool.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. See you. Bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Have a good night.